started in my career at a two-year college in Florida back when I came out of college. I was actually kind of a summer student assistant. And one of the things I used to do was I would help the lady that would do the transcript evaluations, and she always used the AACRAO guide, see if colleges were accredited and could accept credit, etc. So that was my first experience of just even hearing the term AACRAO. But then as I got the full-time position at that same college and I became active in the state association, FACRO, we often, talked about AACRAO. We had AACRAO reps come to our meetings. So I became familiar with AACRAO that way. I had been active in all my associations. So I was active in my state association. I served as president there. I then became active in my regional association, which is called SACRO, and I was president there. And after SACRO, I started serving on some AACRAO committees. At about the same time as when AACRAO, this is back in the late 1990s, AACRAO was going through a financial problem. Started getting more interested in AACRAO and trying to figure out, kind of what was going on, etc. So they had an opening on the board because the existing treasurer, the vice president of finance, was elected to become the president-elect. And so they needed to fill the treasurer's position. And I'd been active on the program committee. I chaired the program committee. So they asked me if I'd like to come and fulfill that one-year term. I did, and I liked it. So I went ahead and they nominated me for the three-year term. So I served as VP of Finance for actually 4 years. And then I was asked to be, if I wanted to be president of AACRAO. I firmly believe that the finance committee helps you understand, the operations of AACRAO. And I think one thing that a lot of people, I don't know if it's the same today as it was back when I was serving, but one of the things I realized serving on the AACRAO board was that many of the board members didn't really understand what it meant to be a board member. They were used to serving on their state executive committees or regional executive committees, but they were now truly serving on a board of directors, and most of them did not have that experience or understanding. So that was one of my goals as president, was to really help them understand the responsibilities of a board member, how to be a board member. I was doing financially well, how to kind of build for the future. So that's when we first started the reserve funds at AACRAO, where we started investing the excess money that we were making each year off of different things into a reserve fund with an investment manager to help us have money for the future, which today has really paid off because AACRAO has a very healthy reserve fund. And I also wanted to work with the board on the board meetings. I wanted the board meetings to be more efficient, not be something where somebody bloviates for 30 minutes on some topic that nobody really cares about. So I really wanted to get it structured as an operating board. We kind of accomplished that. And then the last thing I wanted to do was make sure we got the strategic plan updated. So those are the 4 areas of focus I had as president. A lot of the people that serve on the board are, managers of their own office on a campus somewhere, often are in a kind of a management role rather than a leadership role. And when you're serving in a board, you have fiduciary responsibility to serve on behalf of the association. You're there to make sure the association works well and is spending money wisely, because you're taking the money from the colleges basically and using it to run the operation. So, getting the board to think more strategically and less operationally. I mean, I used to have to remind them, we actually have an executive director, we have a staff. So I think I got the board, kind of to understand that better. And I even tried to work with the N&E committee a little bit to get them to focus on the strategic role of the board when picking new board members. So board members kind of understood what they were getting into. I'm very pleased with what I see them doing and what I hear they're doing. One of the things I'm really glad they've done that we didn't ever do when I was on the board was the getting the members to go up on the Hill and speak to some of their representatives. I think it's important that Congress hear from their constituents, and this is a great way to facilitate that process. AACRAO, to me, was the premier association for people in the enrollment field. It provided not only a lot of very useful tools that you could use every day in your offices, it offered you opportunities to convene, to come to meetings, to meet other colleagues. And the one thing I learned about in my career, one thing I learned about that profession was nothing was real proprietary. Most people, if they had a good idea, were willing to come to a conference and share with you how they did something, and you were free to adopt it if you wanted to. So it's a very supportive group. I've always enjoyed my colleagues and always felt like we always had good, open, and honest conversations about different issues. And I think AACRAO is one of the oldest professional higher ed associations in the country, and it's just good to see them in such good health.